Hello everyone. Buongiorno. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. This is Tony Abad, member of the board of the Italian Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. And on behalf of the chamber, I'd like to welcome everyone to this Italy-Philippines Business Forum, where we are going to explore a timely partnership between two countries that are kindred spirit, we could call it that. With major changes, namely the pandemic, the elections, it's high time that we explore this partnership between Italy and the Philippines. And in between, the bridge for this partnership is the Italian Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. And before anything else, and perhaps to explain the mechanics and the purpose of our forum, we have none other than El Presidente, our president and leader in the Italian Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. Coming to you from Italy, we have none other than President Sergio Boero. Sergio, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Sergio. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
All right, thank you. And it's great to be with you today online, as I am in Italy for a business tour where I go every year for a couple of months, where I present the opportunities of the Philippines to the Italians. And I take this opportunity also to say, after this interesting forum, if you are interested to contact me, I will be glad to meet you, since I'm in Italy till October. And the panelists today will tell you about the opportunities in the Philippines. That is the one of the most interesting country in the ASEAN area. Actually, I believe all the ASEAN area is an interesting area for our business partner in Italy. And we are sure that there are a lot of challenges in this area, because it's a growing challenges, but a lot of opportunities. And that's why today we will discuss about how can the chamber and also the embassy. We have also the pleasure to have Ambassador Clemente with us today. And I can assure we work very close to all the issues that sometimes we have in the country. And we can assure to all the business business partner in Italy that they can have an environment here. They can be protected and assisted in the proper way. So I leave the stage to the panelists. They will tell you more in details how we can do business together in the Philippines. Thank you to everyone, and I hope to see you soon.
Grazie, Sergio. And now, to further elaborate and give more inspiration to this partnership that we are forging between Italy and the Philippines, we have the representative of Italy in the Philippines, none other than His Excellency, the Ambassador of Italy to the Philippines, Ambassador Marco Clemente. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us today.
Hello, you hear me?
Steve?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Abad, for your introduction. Thank you, Mr. Boero. It's always a pleasure to join you. It's not rhetoric to say that, because the role of the chamber for the embassy is crucial. And I consider myself as part of the family, and I totally share the the opinion of the president that the cooperation is excellent between embassy and chamber, and we will continue that way. I don't want to take much of your time because, of course, it will be up to your panelists to explain the reasons why the Philippines is a very interesting country for strengthening the Italian Philippines bilateral relationship and cooperation, and to provide the business community a lot of interesting business opportunities. Allow me just to emphasize some concepts which are very general but nevertheless important. First of all, we are experiencing the reopening of the country after more than 2 years of very, very strict lockdown. And fortunately, like most of the world, the Philippines proved being very resilient, and it's coming back. So the worst can be considered, and I like to say is definitely behind us. And so this reopening offers, of course, a lot of space for initiatives also in the business field. This year we marked the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the bilateral diplomatic relations. So it's I hope that we can remember this year, not only for this important political benchmark, but also because of the renaissance of the business cooperation, or strengthening of the business cooperation between the two countries. I think that this reopening, mixed with the rebound of our economy, even though, of course, there are other aspects in the international situation nowadays that might, cast some shadows, but let's be optimistic about that. I'm referring, of course, to the situation in Ukraine and the energy crisis in Europe and the rest of the world. But as I said before, let's be optimistic and state that this reopening really creates a unique opportunity for the attraction of Italian business and investment in the Philippines. I'm pretty sure that this incoming flow will happen, but it is our responsibility to make it a flood, a real flood, beneficial to both countries. As Mr. Abad reminded us, of course, we are in an interesting phase of the political situation in the Philippines, with a new administration, with new people, new ideas, and I'm pretty sure that this will be very beneficial also for the business relationship between our two countries. I hope that the new government will continue. I'm pretty sure, I'm confident that it will continue the commendable liberalization efforts to open the Filipino economy to foreign businesses investment. There are still sectors of the Philippine economy which are at times not particularly welcoming to foreign companies, and sometimes bringing outside expertise of the country is still unnecessarily hard. But let's hope that future will bring positive developments also in this side. On the Italian side, I think the biggest challenge for us is to attract Italian companies to the Philippines. For most of them, unfortunately, this country is still an undiscovered market, and efforts must be done to open their eyes to the opportunities that it presents. We all know that the Philippines present a very, very interesting feature, very, very useful feature for some businessman that doesn't know this area well. I mean, it has been repeated several times, but it's always useful to remind our audience that, you know, this is a country where English is widespread. The culture is quite similar to ours. It has a geographical location which is really blessed because it's at the center of this area. So it's really can be a hub from which, you know, to reach other markets, other countries. So there are so many interesting opportunities. It's a pity that this is not completely known in the Italian business community. There are many sectors where good work can be done. Of course, it's up to you. It will be thoroughly discussed during your business forum. But let me stress the agricultural sector. I'm sure some of your panelists will mention the fact that we before the European summer break, we had a very important presence of Philippines delegation to an important food and beverage event organized by a major Italian think tank. And there was a high-level delegation of the Philippine government participating and presenting the opportunities of the agri-food sector, the Filipino agri-food sector. I'm confident that this opportunity, this event, which was also facilitated and funded by the Italian embassy, will bear important fruits in the future. Let me mention briefly, and I will conclude my intervention. Let me mention also the tourism sector, bilateral tourist sector. Of course, the Philippines can offer a lot in tourism, and Italy, obviously, it's also very generous with these offers. But maybe if we will have the support of our, you know, friends all over the world, and of course I count the Philippines among them. We hope that Rome, the city in Rome, will be awarded the privilege of hosting the Expo in 2030, and that would be also a fantastic opportunity to make Rome, the capital of Italy, even more popular among the Filipino public. So I would not take much more of your time. Just let me thank you again for your hospitality. I wish you profitable development of your business forum. Unfortunately, for another engagement, I could not possibly postpone. I cannot join you for the rest of the forum, but definitely Mr. Boero and the other members of the chamber will brief me about the results, and we will definitely work together on starting or basing our job also on what will be discussed today. Thank you again for your attention, and all the best to you for this interesting forum. Thank you.
Grazie mille, Mr. Ambassador, especially for wishing us profitability, the most important thing. Yes, it's a shame that we won't be having you for the open forum, but we know that you are very accessible to members of our chamber, and you're a friend and a colleague as well. So we'll keep you up to date about the developments coming out of this forum. Again, thank you very much. Now to discuss more about the Philippine economy as a new target and potential haven for investments coming from Italy, and also exploring the possible bilateral commercial relations between the Philippines and Italy by understanding the dynamics of the Philippine economy, as well as its fiscal policy, financial markets, the industry sector performances, and infrastructure development, and other major economic initiatives here in the Philippines. We have a very new Secretary of Finance, but he's also a very old friend of the chamber. He has been with us ever since, I think even before he was budget secretary, and then he was the governor of the Bangko Sentral. And now he is none other than the Department of Finance secretary. And he has a special address for us. So do pay attention. And we know that we can count on Secretary Ben Jokno to always continue his partnership with us, with the chamber, and look forward to this partnership between Italy and the Philippines. So, ladies and gentlemen, please listen to Secretary Ben Jokno of the Department of Finance.
Thank you for inviting me to speak to you about the Philippine economy and our plans for the next 6 years. The Philippines and Italy have established strong ties in trade, commerce, and investments. Italy has been a steady source of foreign direct investments. Since 2017, FDI inflows from Italy have reached $9.4 million. Remittances from overseas Filipino workers in Italy have also helped boost the Philippine economy. In the last 6 years, total cash remittances from Italy reached $1.4 billion. As the country charts a clear path to recovery and rapid economic growth, there is no better time than now to expand our partnership for mutually beneficial investments. Italian businesses have a unique opportunity to invest in the Philippines, Asia's fastest rising economy. Our economic prospects are bright. In the second quarter of this year, the economy posted a strong broad-based growth of 7.4%. This was driven by positive contributions from all three major sectors: agriculture, industry, and services. Our actual growth of 7.8% for the first half of the year is already above our target growth range of 6.5 to 7.5% for 2022. Investor confidence is on the rise. Last year, FDI inflows reached a record high $10.5 billion. And for the first 5 months, FDI inflows already hit $4.2 billion, which is 19% higher than the previous year's level. We are seeing green shoots in the labor market. The labor force participation rate and the average weekly hours worked were higher in June compared to the previous month. Underemployment was also down, and youth employment was up. Our gross international reserves are at $98.8 billion as of end July. This is more than sufficient to cover 8.3 months worth of imports and payment of services. Our revenues are on the rise, reflecting improvements in the labor market driven by robust economic activity. For the first 7 months of 2022, total revenue collection reached 2.04 trillion pesos, 17% higher than the same period in 2021. This year, we expect revenue collections to already exceed our pre-pandemic level. These achievements are enabled by the country's investment-friendly environment and strengthened by the full reopening of the economy and the enactment of game-changing structural reforms. The government stands fully prepared to sustain these gains while safeguarding the economy from ongoing risk. We have the necessary tools to decisively respond to ongoing risk posed by rising commodity prices, lingering socioeconomic scars from the pandemic, and persistent geopolitical tensions. The Marcos administration is guided by a comprehensive 8-point socio-economic agenda to address this risk and steer the economy to its high-growth trajectory. In the near term, we urgently need to tackle concerns confronting the Philippine people, price stability, and the lingering economic scars from the pandemic. Over the medium term, we will focus on creating more jobs, quality jobs, and green jobs. This will be done through higher investments in smart infrastructure, human capital development, and digitalization. We will exercise fiscal discipline in pursuit of these goals. The economic team will implement a medium-term fiscal framework that will serve as our blueprint to reduce fiscal deficit, promote fiscal sustainability, and enable robust economic growth. The proposed reforms under the framework seek to improve tax administration, enhance the fairness and efficiency of our tax system, and promote sustainability to address the climate crisis. The government expects to collect more revenues on the back of a faster and more broad-based economic growth. We will intensify the digitalization of our revenue agencies to increase our tax effort, enhance collection efficiency, and curb corruption. Our increased fiscal space will allow us to maintain our high investments in infrastructure, which is equivalent to 5 to 6% of our GDP annually. We will beef up our digital infrastructure to enable our industries to evolve in pace with the fourth industrial revolution. The public-private partnership mechanism will be instrumental in funding impactful projects consistent with the country's development goals. We have set in place game-changing reforms to establish a business-friendly environment for both domestic and foreign investors. The Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises Act, or CREATE, immediately cut corporate income tax rates by 10 percentage points for domestic, micro, small, and medium enterprises, and 5 percentage points for all other corporations, which include foreign enterprises. This significantly drives down the cost of doing business in the Philippines. CREATE also rationalized the country's fiscal incentives system to make it performance-based, targeted, time-bound, and transparent. It offers a superior menu of incentives for businesses and activities that are aligned with the Philippines' strategic priorities. The Fiscal Incentives Review Board serves as the primary gatekeeper in the prudent and effective grant of fiscal incentives, ensuring that social and economic benefits are realized in exchange for incentives. Investors can rely on FIRB for a fair, objective, and evidence-based assessment of their projects as they apply for fiscal incentives in the Philippines. Meanwhile, our economic liberalization measures widen the space for international firms to invest in previously protected sectors and form joint ventures with Filipino companies. In particular, enterprises employing advanced technologies will greatly benefit from these new laws. The amendments to the Retail Trade Liberalization Act effectively opened up the retail sector by lowering the minimum paid up requirement for foreign retailers from $2.5 million to only $500,000. The law also simplified the qualification requirements of foreign retailers by removing the required net worth, the number of retailing branches, and retailing track record conditions. Meanwhile, the amendments to the Foreign Investments Act provides flexibility and transparency in the review of foreign investment negative list. The law also liberalizes the practice of professions, making it easier for foreign investors that require foreign talent to do business in the Philippines. Lastly, the amendments to the Public Service Act has opened up public services to 100% foreign ownership, while retaining the public utilities as majority Filipino-owned. Foreign investors are now welcome to bring their capital into the country, especially in the fields of telecommunications, airports, toll roads, and shipping. The Philippines is open for business. We are ready to explore investment opportunities with you and look forward to forging even stronger ties with the Italian business community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary Ben. We look forward to seeing you again in our future events and future activities, and we'll take your words of advice and your updates to heart as we forge this partnership and move on. Now, the Department of Trade and Industry is the agency that works out the mechanics for investment and trade between countries. And naturally, we turn to the DTI try and come up with new ways of forging partnerships. Now, the secret, they say, in trying to come up with a meaningful partnership between Italy and Philippines is really to bring in innovation and to bring in new technology into the picture. And that is why we are fortunate to have, for our next presentation, Undersecretary in charge of competitiveness and innovation, Undersecretary Rafaelita or Fita Aldaba. She is going to talk about why invest in the Philippines. She'll tell us about the economic zones, about investment incentives, about the new government policies, agendas, and laws, some of which were already discussed by Secretary Ben. But in focusing and emphasizing to us why the Philippines is now a logical place to do business in and with, and also how Italy, how we can really maximize this relationship between the Philippines and Italy. So I will turn the floor over to the presentation by Undersecretary Fita Aldaba of the DTI.
His Excellency, Italian Ambassador Marco Clemente, Department of Finance Secretary Benjamin Giocno, Italian Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines President Sergio Guerro, and Executive Director Lawrence Ziller, distinguished guests, leaders, and members of the Italian and Filipino business communities, a pleasant afternoon to you all. As the world moves to a future after COVID-19, the Philippines has oriented itself toward a strong recovery, which we hope to accelerate with long-standing economic partners like Italy. The Italy and the Philippines have strong bilateral trade and investment foundations. In 2021, Italy ranked as the Philippines' 22nd trading partner out of 223, 19th import supplier out of 210, and 26th export market out of 205. Philippine exports to Italy recently grew by 14.4% from more than $203 million in 2020 to more than $232 million in 2021. Our top exports include coconut products, tuna products, metal parts, office machines, and watches, among others. In the future, we hope to elevate this trade partnership further and explore export opportunities in other products like processed fruits and nuts, electronics, machineries, and automotive parts and components. In terms of investments, the past 3 years have seen a slowdown of investment inflows. As of the latest 2022 figures, Italian foreign direct investments stood at $380,000, which I believe could be further reinvigorated given that the average annual investments from Italy pre-pandemic is about $3 million. The top investment destinations by industry are wholesale and retail and manufacturing. In PEZA alone, there are 13 Italian registered companies with a total investment of 700 million pesos, generating more than $10 million in exports and more than 900 direct jobs. In order to put our industries in a much better position to compete in the global and domestic market and achieve inclusive and sustainable industrial development, our new industrial strategy will be driven by science, technology, and innovation. Our industrial strategy has 6 strategic actions, namely, embrace Industry 4.0 by adopting new Industry 4.0 technologies such as artificial intelligence towards transforming industries and increasing the share of STI-intensive sectors to GDP. Develop innovative MSMEs and startups. Through innovation, we want to upsize our MSMEs. We are also building a robust tech startup ecosystem that would be critical in developing new innovations and supporting the digital transformation of SMEs. Integrate industry development, trade, and investment policies. This is crucial as we address gaps in supply and value chains. We are linking manufacturing with agriculture and services to integrate our production systems, deepen our global value chain participation, and expand and diversify our exports along with our trade and investment partners. Promote regional development by strengthening regional innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystems. Given the economic imbalance in our regional development, we are focusing our efforts towards regional industrial transformation, modernizing our agro-industrial activities through science, technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Upskill and reskill the workforce. We need to build our human resource capabilities in science, technology, and innovation, and ensure that the skills and competencies needed for future production are met and skills mismatches are addressed. Create an enabling economic environment. This is particularly important in order for us to create a competitive physical and digital infrastructure that would lower the cost of doing business, which would then attract more investments. Our priority industry clusters include the Industrial, Manufacturing, and Transport cluster, covering aerospace, electric vehicles, advanced electronic chips and products, batteries, and the processing of green metals like nickel, cobalt, and copper, along with advanced manufacturing technologies. The second cluster is the Technology, Media, and Telecommunications, covering IT BPM and hyperscale data centers, the creative economy, digital economy, and products using artificial intelligence, robotics, augmented reality, mixed reality, 5G, and Internet of Things. The Health and Life Sciences cluster includes the biotechnology sector, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, including digital health products and services. These three clusters are currently undergoing global reconfiguration, and hence our goal is to take advantage of these changes and reposition our policies and programs to develop industries in these clusters. And lastly, the Modern Basic Needs and Resilient Economy cluster, covering activities to support our economic recovery and promote sustainable and inclusive growth, such as food, fishing, and other agro-industrial products, infrastructure, education, shelter and sanitation, basic industries including integrated steel, textile, chemicals, and plastics, along with renewable energy and activities to support the development of green ecosystems. We are positive that these industry clusters will be the drivers of growth in the future, especially the Philippine trade and industry landscape has been enjoying a momentum of impactful reforms and enabling laws in recent years. In 2019, we enacted 2 landmark legislations on innovation, the Philippine Innovation Act, which aims to develop the country's national and regional innovation ecosystems, and the Innovative Startup Act, which provides benefits and removes the constraints to promote the growth of innovative enterprises. The amended Public Services Act allows up to 100% foreign ownership in telecommunications, shipping, air carriers, railway, subways, airports, and toll roads. Under the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, retail investments are now only required $500,000 as minimum paid up capital from the previous $2.5 million. Under the amended Foreign Investments Act, the Philippines can now be a second home for global startups involved in advanced technology, with a capital requirement of only $100,000 and only 15 employees from the local workforce. Furthermore, the approval of CREATE in 2021 has introduced a rationalization of the country's incentive system to make it more innovation-driven. Through the Strategic Investment Priority Plan, CREATE serves as a tool for innovation, digital transformation, and industrialization. Under the Strategic Investment Priority Plan, depending on the tier, location, and market orientation, eligible activities may avail of 4 to 7 years income tax holiday, enhanced deductions, or 5 to 10 years special corporate income tax. The priority industries under the Strategic Investment Priority Plan are aligned with our 4 priority industry clusters. Tier 1 covers modern agriculture and food processing, design-focused industries, energy efficiency projects, health and medical products, and infrastructure projects, among others. Tier 2 includes green metals and EV manufacturing, health-related activities such as the manufacture of vaccines, defense-related activities, including steel, chemicals, and food security activities. Finally, Tier 3 activities are expected to generate R&D and commercialization of intellectual property. Here is the matrix of the incentive system under CREATE. Essentially, the level of incentives are higher when the eligible activities are more high-tech, export-oriented, and located in regions far from the national capital region and other megacities. One of our flagship initiatives that would drive digital transformation is the establishment of an Industry 4.0 pilot factory, which will serve as pilot, demonstration, and learning laboratories for the fourth industrial revolution technologies like robotics, intelligent manufacturing systems, and cyber physical systems. It will also serve as a technology platform for various stakeholders and a training and research hub where industries can have hands-on experience on Industry 4.0 applications. The proposed facilities that the Industry 4.0 pilot factory will house a demo and digital experience center where technology providers can showcase use cases of their products, learning and co-working spaces where trainings and collaborative discussions can be conducted, an application and design hub where in-house applied R&D can be executed, exhibition centers for the conduct of events, and a prototyping sandbox where researchers and companies, including SMEs, can develop proofs of concept. To complement the Industry 4.0 pilot factory, we will also establish the Center for AI Research, or CARE, with the goal of making the Philippines an AI Center of Excellence. Currently, the Philippines already hosts more than 50 tech startups which are already using AI as a core technology. If we grow the AI ecosystem further, it has the opportunity to contribute $92 billion, representing about 12% of GDP by 2030, according to EDBI and Kearney. CARE will be instrumental in scaling this up, and together with private sector partners, CARE will be a public-private partnership hub where data scientists and researchers can perform collaborative AI R&D for industries, produce AI products and services, provide AI trainings and AI learning materials, and support the digital transformation of industries, including large enterprises and SMEs. To further support the country's digital transformation, we are developing a robust and connected Philippine startup ecosystem. The ecosystem today is composed of a young, energetic, and tech-savvy population brimming with potential. To support the development of a robust startup ecosystem, we are implementing various incubation and acceleration programs, as well as funding and market access programs to support innovative startups in all stages of their development, with a goal of growing homegrown tech giants. We are also implementing the Philippine Skills Framework together with other government agencies, which seeks to develop a common language that employers, workers, and training institutions share in order to address skills mismatch. To diffuse innovation in all parts of the country, we are also establishing regional inclusive innovation centers, or RICs, which serve as platforms to connect stakeholders in the regions to collaborate and advance innovation and entrepreneurship to drive regional industrialization. We are working with scientists from the National Academy of Science and Technology and the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering to provide science, technology, and innovation solutions affecting our regional industries, particularly in the production and processing of high-value crops like coffee, cacao, coconut, fruits and nuts, abaca, tropical fibers, and bamboo, as well as to further help us develop the STI ecosystem in the regions. And to date, DTI, together with DOST, have established 9 local regional inclusive innovation centers. In view of the enactment of the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act, DTI and UNIDO will implement a $3.8 million project to enhance the EV policy environment and deploy electric vehicles and charging infrastructure in 5 key cities. In view as well of the recent enactment of the Philippine Creative Industries Development Act, DTI has proposed a holistic set of programs under the banner Malikhaing Pinoy, encompassing institutional strengthening, creative market acceleration, and the establishment of a creative venture fund, a creative learning academy, and various creative innovation centers. We aim to integrate our trade and industrial policy with the goal of improving the competitiveness of Philippine industries, deepening our participation in global value chains, creating wider access to key export markets, and diversifying our trade and investment partners. Currently, the Philippines has 2 bilateral free trade agreements, 7 regional FTAs, and several joint economic committee initiatives. The Philippines is also a beneficiary of the various countries' generalized system of preferences programs on a wide range of products. To further strengthen our global competitiveness, we have forged economic cooperation and free trade agreements that are still work in progress, including the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. We are also participating in the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, along with 12 other country partners, representing 40% of world GDP, with the purpose of forwarding the country's interests in increasing shared global prosperity and in advancing technological innovation in Indo-Pacific. On behalf of DTI Secretary Alfredo E. Pascual, we warmly thank all of you for your valuable contributions to our country's development and for your efforts to bring in more investors to the Philippines. We look forward to our growing trade and industry relationship and friendship. With your confidence and our dedication, we believe that we can make investments happen in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rita. It's always good to have you around, and we know that we have someone to run to and talk to at the DTI. And we've taken note of these initiatives at the DTI, especially those involving innovation, which can be, I think, particularly advantageous for any relationship between Italy and the Philippines. And now to look at and study the experience of locating in economic zones here in the Philippines, we have Mr. Richard Osman, President of the Science Park of the Philippines. And I think Mr. Osman will be able to share with us those practical tips and anecdotes about how it is to actually be managing and functioning within an industrial or special economic zone in the Philippines. So, Without further ado, let me turn the screen over to Mr. Richard Osman.
Hi, my name is Richard Osman, and I'm head of Science Park of the Philippines. We belong to the ICCP group of companies. We have two sides of the business. First, ICCP doing investment banking, and we have a separate company doing fund equity and venture capital. Science Park of the Philippines belong to the Property and Development and Management Group, which we have Pueblo de Oro Residences and World Trade Center Metro Manila. Science Park started in 1989, 33 years ago, and we are a developer of industrial parks and day-to-day manager of all these industrial parks. We are spread all over the place. We have two in Laguna, we have two in Batangas Province, one in Bataan, and another one in Cebu. We have about more than 800 hectares in aggregate land area. Most of our manufacturing locators are in the electronics and semicon business, automotive parts and components, and consumer goods. And they belong to the Fortune 1000 and Forbes global list of 2,000 top companies in the world. Now, let me guide you through and share to you how we started to embrace ESG in the company.
Environmental, social, and governance criteria, or ESG, have become an increasingly popular way for investors to evaluate companies in which they might want to invest. Many investors consider it important to incorporate their values and vision into their selection of investments. SPPI applies numerous environmental and sustainability measures to address environmental issues such as climate change, carbon emissions, land, air, and water pollution, and resource scarcity. SPPI's commitment to develop green and sustainable developments is reflected in its mission statement and environmental policy, and has been translated into pioneering green initiatives, such as being the first privately owned industrial park with a centralized wastewater treatment facility, as well as attainment and adherence to ISO 14001-2015, or Environmental Management System, and leadership in energy and environmental design. In its effort to continuously develop better industrial parks, SPPI hired the internationally renowned master planner, Sasaki and Associates, for its latest project, which now adapts the mixed-use township development concept in Malvar, Batangas. This includes an industrial park, light industry and science park 4, with residential subdivisions through SPPI's affiliate, Pueblo de Oro Development Corporation, a commercial area, and an institutional center. Sasaki's master plan for our Malvar project minimized the impact and alterations to the site and its surroundings, while providing generous green and open spaces for a healthy environment. Other notable undertakings considered in the master plan includes the application of communing with nature concept, natural terrain and vegetation preservation, flood mitigation measures, and soil erosion protection. SPPI also achieved LEED Gold certification for its latest administration building at LISP4, adapting best practices in building energy and environmental design. SPPI, together with its park operations and management arm, Vector Property Managers Incorporated, applied various resource conservation measures, such as the use of energy-efficient equipment and renewable energy source. We are also studying to recycle wastewater, which will be used for toilet flushing and gardening. On the other hand, we also have implemented several methods and initiatives to mitigate land, air, and water pollution. In developing our industrial estates, we put a lot of emphasis on environmental protection. For this reason, we are multi-awarded for our commitment in keeping our ecozones and its neighboring communities green, healthy, smart, and sustainable. One of the Philippines' national government agencies, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, which supervises the establishment and operation of private industrial estates, hailed SPPI as a Hall of Fame awardee because of its outstanding environmental performance over the years. Other national government bodies and environmental groups also recognize SPPI's contribution to environmental protection.
Mondinisin aspires to improve the well-being of people and planet and create sustainable solutions for food security. We believe SPPI is aligned with us in having sustainability at the heart of their organization. Together, Mondinisin and SPPI are working to ensure that we make use of essential resources such as energy and water in a way that is not only compliant with our regulations, but also consistent with the best practices of environmental management and ensuring pollution prevention through our waste management system. This alignment and collaboration allows us to meet expectations of our stakeholders while serving community and preserving our planet. We support and thank SPPI management in spearheading this endeavor. Thank you very much.
SPPI, through its social development arm, the ICCP Group Foundation Incorporated, implements community development programs based on the needs of host communities. Most of its social programs are in active partnership with local government units, government agencies, civil society organizations, and other like-minded groups. It encourages employee participation in the company's social development activities. SPPI initiates job generation and community livelihood, especially during this pandemic, to improve the quality of life of community members through job opportunities or by engaging in microeconomic activities that will help generate sustained family income. SPPI locators make sure that the recruitment process prioritizes employable members of the host communities. Annual environmental events are implemented to ensure sustainability of green efforts participated in by locator employees. Relevant projects and activities are developed and implemented to create opportunities for children to attain formal education and for adults to participate in relevant training and seminars that are geared towards acquiring greater knowledge, skills, and positive values. SPPI ensures that basic services such as education, health and wellness through community programs are provided to improve the quality of life of underprivileged communities. SPPI provides assistance to indigent families with no regular income, especially during crisis and natural disasters like typhoon, flooding, and the COVID-19 pandemic. We also initiate direct emergency assistance to people with special needs, where possible and appropriate. SPPI rises to the challenge of the present times by enforcing comprehensive company protocols and preventive measures that ensure preservation of natural resources, public safety, and the park's responsiveness to the new normal. Following the government's vaccination drive to attain herd immunity from COVID-19, SPPI was able to facilitate the inoculation of 58,000 locator and park employees, comprising 87% of the total employees. With profound honor and gratitude, we would like to share a few awards we have received from esteemed partners and prestigious institutions. With or without awards, SPPI is committed to continue to implement, coordinate, and facilitate relevant sustainable social development projects and activities.
As overhead, I'm not particular with the amount. mas pinoproject ko doon yung impact ng pabaon, ng proyektong pabaon sa pagkatao ng aming mga estudyante. Ipapalarin na magiging maunladakan ng pamumuhay, they will do the same thing. Kumbaga yung kagandang loob na pinakita ng ICCP group ay mamamana ng mga batang ito. Nagpapakita lang po ito na tunay, buhay pa rin ang bayan niyan dito sa ating paaralan sa pamamagitan po ng tulong pabahon.
Governance, in the context of ESG, is essentially about how a company is managed by the executive team and its board of directors, attending to the interests of the company's various stakeholders, employees, suppliers, shareholders, and customers. Like all companies within the ICCP group, SBPI is guided by the following governance principles. SBPI adheres to the highest ethical and professional standards in building long-term relationships with clients and partners. Its board is composed of directors with a collective mix of competence, experience, and expertise, and complemented by independent directors who provide guidance toward credible governance standards. In SBPI, transparency is promoted in its operations to ensure that the interests of its stakeholders are considered and protected at all times. Lastly, policies that promote employee integrity in all business dealings while observing common courtesies are instituted within the organization.
Hi, this is Akira Suzuki from Perstima, Philippines. It's my pleasure to make some comments on LSP4's environmental policies. First, it was very impressive for me that LSP admin office already implemented solar panel system on the roof, on the top, which is very eco-friendly. In the near future, in our factory, we would like to consider seriously on that. And for the second, maybe after 2-3 months later, we will be in operation. And after that, we will be implementing Japanese style 5S system style, which is well known all over the world. I'm sure that LSP4 has similar mind and discipline to keep the park safe and clean. Anyway, I appreciate for the help from LSP4. Thank you.
A simple and humble beginning that Science Park started to embrace insofar as ESG. It's for the planet, for the society, and for the general public. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Richard Osmond and his team at Science Park. I guess this was more an educational presentation on Science Park, but I hope it gives some idea of the investment possibilities where Italian companies may locate, and not only in the area of Manila, in Luzon, but even in the Visayas. So we have heard from the Filipinos. Now let us hear from the Italians, and let us hear about Italian excellence in industrial machinery and technologies, because it gives us a potential area for cooperation and investment, something that Filipinos can learn from and also take advantage of. It can also be a possible an opportunity for turning the Philippines into a staging point for Italian industry to do trade and to do further investment here in Southeast Asia and beyond. And to present on this idea of Italian excellence in industrial machinery and technologies, we have the Director for External and International Relations of Anima Confindustria. We have our friend Alessandro Durante. Welcome, Alessandro, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here with you, and thank you for the opportunity to the Italian Embassy in Manila, to the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Sergio Boero, and all the staff. And it's very important for us to have such kind of relationship that allows us to understand a bit better what are the real needs of some countries where there are already connections, where there are already a good trade relationship, but we love to move one step ahead always. So the commercial channels are just the first step in relationship. Then we love to understand what's the path for development that can be in some way where we can help the country in developing in the way that the country government thinks is the right way. So this is our approach. Just to let you understand what we represent, because it's Anima Confindustria is a federation of industrial associations. There are 34 industrial associations. So I'm trying to share the screen with my presentation. But it seems not to work. So anyway, I'm just sending this so you can have it as a follow-up. Just to give you some figures, as I said, the federation is made of 34 associations. We have 1,000 direct companies joining, and we represent some Italian sectors in the manufacturing area for a turnover of about 52 billion euros. 2/3 of this turnover is made by export. So I have seen many points of connections with the previous presentations when there is the objective of developing the micro and small and medium enterprises, for example. It seems that your government is addressing a lot of effort to this kind of companies, of entrepreneurs. And this is something that is very similar to Italy. We are a very industrialized country, but we are based on small and medium enterprise. Oh, thank you for sharing the presentation. Oh, if you can go to slide number 2, yes, thank you. As you can see, figures are important, but more important is the fact that we have been founded in 1914, more than 100 years ago. And our aim, our scope was to create some international standard for mechanics and engineering that could help our companies to have the right consideration from the other countries, especially because if you accomplish to an international standard, it means that you are guaranteeing the quality of your products or your processes, of your services. And this allows you to stand for higher prices, and that allows you to create margins for further investment. Can you go to the next slide? Here are the fields where we are active: technology for industry, especially for food production, energy production, and general mechanical manufacturing from one side. Another big area is the building technologies with comfort and energy efficiency, as well as plant and machinery equipment for construction. And the third area is technologies for safety, security, and environment. If you go to the next slide, yeah, again. Here, just an idea of what happened in the last couple of years. We had a bad decrease due to COVID in 2020, but in 2021, we immediately gained back what we have lost. Today, with the Russian and Ukrainian conflict, things are not bad in terms of turnover, but margins are decreasing strongly. So this is another point to focus to new relationship, because the relationship with Russia is going to fade away. The next, please. I've heard about the need and the idea of developing in Philippines the agro-industrial sector. Well, what we are doing in many countries is to link the agricultural business development to the food processing business development. So we are very positive on having a good development already from the agricultural factory. So, I mean, the farm is going to be considered an industry, and the farmer is no more a farmer, but is an entrepreneur of a company that has farming as its core business. And it's essential to put some technologies inside the farm in order to develop already from the crop to a sort of first with a first processing unit that can rise up the value of the product itself. And so we do this in many areas. Here you have some that are addressed mainly to a more industrialized activity, but we start from coffee machines to milling machines, bakery, confectionery, slicers, industrial and commercial refrigeration equipment, meat processing, and so on. The next slide, please. Anima, among its 34 association, has a great effort on also in the production of systems for energy, chemical, for example. So we are very focused on producing systems and especially items for systems. This kind of system usually have the need of being reliable to last for long terms, for long-term history. So it's very important to have a reliable source of energy and a reliable system that can produce energy at with the most comprehensive time frame possible. And in Europe now we are facing this. We have not sure to have enough energy for our business. So this is a big issue that is going to be bigger and bigger in the next few years. The next slide. About building technologies, we have developed in the years a great expertise, especially in terms of technologies related to water from one side and gas management from another side. With these two areas, we provide we call comfort technologies for human beings. So whatever the place where the humans are working, living, playing, we need to ensure the best comfort that we can. And so, especially in cooling systems and water treatment infrastructures, as well as all the systems related, we have been developing one strong pillar of our industry since the 1955, where the first gas line has been built up in Italy, and it has been one of the first in Europe. That's why we know a lot about gas and its application. Of course, now and relating to the previous slide as well, we are developing something more, not only gas, but for example, we are developing items and systems already to be used for hydrogen, for example, or other gases that will be some option for the energy transition that will last a few decades, but will bring us to full electric, at least in Europe. The next one, please. This is another area where there is a big interest because Mrs. Rafaelita Dava talked about the urgency of Philippines in developing industry 4.0 and to transform manufacturing and connect manufacturing. This is the area of the factories that will be mostly affected, or where at least we in Italy, we have worked more and more since in 2017, 5 years ago, the government started a big plan in order to transform industry from analog to digital. So now our companies are almost everyone is digitized. It has a 4.0 approach, and we have seen that this area, well, that the connection between the production and the internal logistic area has been the key point to develop an effective 4.0 plan, because the point is to let the factory have the correct information in the correct moment and at the useful moment and of the development of the product. And mainly, well, at least in Italy, the focus was mainly for the production area, while all the rest of the factory was, I could say, a sort of second level. First, there was the production. There has been always the biggest attention, even the biggest investment. there has been. Now there is not only production, but there is logistic as well. Even in the IoT evolution, logistic is more and more important. And even in the business to business area, such the ones that we are talking about, even if it's not, we are not talking about something like Amazon or Alibaba, but there is an improvement on this kind of solutions. So we expect a big growth in this area when there is attention for the 4.0 industry. Next one. This is a very common area. Welding machines, furnaces, painting, industrial finishing, handling, automation, and robotics. As I said before, even this that is very there is a great manual need, manual experience that anyway can be improved by the industry 4.0, and we have done it, and the results are very, very positive. I can say that the rebound after 2020, where we have lost about 10% in turnover, has been given mainly by this industry 4.0 capacity, because we have been extremely reactive with an extreme speed in reaction from the questions from the market. The next one. Here, just an idea of what we are talking about. And here you can see, for example, these automatic warehouses that almost, I wouldn't say a percentage, but there's a very large percentage of companies that now have for their logistic needs automatic warehouses, saving square meters, saving time, and having a much better organization. The next one. Here it's dedicated to environmental technologies, firefighting equipment. So it's something collateral to what we have seen before. And but it's important, especially because even in collateral areas, these are going to be of great importance in order to guarantee the continuity of the business. And this is going to be another great area. In addition to this, we have generators, for example, that are used mainly in situation of extreme danger or in situations of, for example, environmental disaster. But now we are using it to guaranteeing the productivity, for example, and to help the companies even in temporary area, to develop the correct activities. The next one, please. This is just to say that we are part of the European Federation of Industrial Engineering, where we talk about how to have a better environment. And this is one thing that as an association is extremely important, because more and more Italy is part of Europe, but it has to do its part in order to guide European decisions, as you do with the ASEAN comprehensive countries. Please, the next one. Here, just an overview of our associations. Now, I'd say to close the PowerPoint, the presentation, just to give a couple of points more. Infrastructure, energy efficiency, food security, agro-industrial business. These are all areas where we can be a very good partner in order to understand what is needed to develop in the correct way. I mean, I've heard about the need of having new jobs, but have green jobs as well, quality jobs. This is essential in order to have a correct development in a country like yours, that, as I said, is very similar to Italy from one side. It has an extremely important added value, that there is a very good Filipino community in Italy as well. There are very good relationship. And on the same time, in the Philippines, there is, from my side, an extremely interesting areas of development in order to start immediately having new economic growth, starting exactly from the agricultural business, treating the farm as a factory, introducing some new technologies, introducing technologies to produce energy on site, maybe from scrap, from the resources that are dismissed in the agricultural area, or on the other way, in the management of water as well. These 2 points can bring immediately new margins for the farmer, but we consider an entrepreneur that can invest again on its farming industry, in its farming side, and can develop very, very quickly. Well, for our logistics and infrastructure, of course, there are big issues facing these years, and we have a very good expertise on this as well. But I would like to just to share this point, that we need to understand a bit better each other in order to build together the solutions that we can provide, but that can be some long-lasting solutions. This is the biggest point, because very often there is the perception that Italian products, Italian components are extremely expensive. Well, I can tell you that now we have been chosen by Chinese, by Indians, by many countries that for years and years asked us for the price, first of all. Now, nobody is asking about the price, but is asking about stability, efficiency. Is it going to last longer? Because in many cases, especially infrastructures or big systems, big industrial systems, have the need to be built once and last for long. In the last few years, we have seen a lot of systems that must have been rebuilt or revamped very, very quickly, because they couldn't last longer than a couple of years. So I just want to underline this point. Our approach is for long-lasting experience, long-lasting activities, because we are not very good at selling. We are good at making projects together. We don't produce before there is a need. We produce after we have listened our counterpart, and then we produce. Because our companies are small and medium. We cannot afford to have big warehouses full of products. We produce after having listened and understood. So I just want to say thank you to all of you again, and I give you the stage back.
Grazie, Alessandro. I was following your presentation, and it seems to me all the Camera Italiana has to do is to forge a strong partnership with Anima Confindustria, and we could be developing maybe thousands of projects here in the Philippines and between Philippines and Italy. Everything from agriculture and farming to food security, logistics, infrastructure, and big industrial projects. So I think we at the Camera, we in the chamber have to take a cue, especially from what you said. It's not products that you want to sell, but the projects that you want to bring and make together. So hopefully we will come up with that very specific set of projects that would be born out of this business forum. Again, thank you very much. And we move on to other Italians, but these are now going to be Italians who are also part Filipino or have souls that are Filipino, and giving their ideas of how investment and business from Italians have already worked and gained experience here in the Philippines, and what it's been like, the experience, and what to look out for. To start off this discussion on the experiences of Italians in the Philippines, I'd like to call our executive director, my maestro, who is, now he is not just a Philippine-based, but specifically a Mindanao-based Italian. And yes, we've been talking about so many ideas for partnership and investment here in the Philippines. So I'll turn the floor over to you, Lawrence. What are your insights for us?
Buongiorno, Tony. Thank you for the kind introduction. Well, it is a pleasure to be here today and represent the Italian Chamber of Commerce. We have heard some really exciting things. First of all, the absolute great economic performance of the Philippines, because we knew that the Philippines is a country that has an assured growth, mainly because of the low average age of its population, but an assured growth for at least the next 25 years. So the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank are predicting that for the next 20 years at least, there will be an average growth of 6% in the country. And of course, the Italian Chamber is here, and we have to try and take advantage of this. The Philippines, as we know, needs many things, is building a lot of infrastructure projects. In fact, after the previous Duterte administration, the current administration vows to continue the golden age of infrastructure and construction. So that is actually very exciting. And so let me, first of all, introduce also the Italian Chamber, because if something is necessary, especially in the Philippines, which is notoriously a difficult country, so if something is necessary, is having a reliable partner who can guide an Italian company or any businessman through the intricate environment of the Philippine world. So I will share now my Okay, my screen, here we go. Hope you can see it. So the Italian Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, we're actually 10 now, this year, 11 years old. And so we are quite a young chamber. What we do, so we come straight to the point, because what I don't like is talk, but then no facts. So let's go straight to the point. So what we do is we do a lot of event organizations. We organize B2B meetings, which will definitely then lead to business. We do partner search for our member companies. We do business development, active business development. We organize business missions. We do company representation because, of course, Italy is far away. And since not all companies can have a local representative or can be here all the time, we even represent Italian companies here on the ground. We do market research. We give logistic support to many companies who have different kinds of needs. And you cannot imagine how many companies have requirements here where we can help. We do even concierge services for executives who come in, or for staff who needs to fly in and be deployed on the ground. And we also give visa support services now, especially during the pandemic. That was something very much in demand. So our philosophy and goal, as you can see, our philosophy and goal is let's do business. We don't want much talk. Our companies, our members, they tell us what they want to achieve, what they want to do, and then we go down and we do it together. We engage in what is affecting economic, industrial, and commercial relations between Italy and the Philippines. So definitely, Italian Chamber is here for doing business. And at the same time, we have heard Italy is also a connector. And the Italian Chamber connects two markets, not only Italy and the Philippines, but also Europe. In fact, Italy is a gateway to Europe. So if any Filipino company wants to sell in Europe, Italy is the best springboard, and the Italian Chamber can really help and support these activities. And the same, if a company wants to start selling in the ASEAN market, which is a market of over 450 million people, that means, of over 600 million people, the ASEAN. The 450 million was Europe. And it is a great opportunity even to start or set up an office in the Philippines. Well, first of all, it is cheaper than setting up an office in Singapore or in other countries. But it is also very convenient because in the Philippines, we have an English-speaking population. So actually, I was launching this idea several months ago. We can actually do export management for Italian companies from the Philippines worldwide, because we do speak, well, in the office here, we speak Italian, German, and English, and French also. So we could theoretically cover a lot of markets. But anyway, Italy is a gateway to Europe. The Philippines is a gateway to the ASEAN. Now, our community, since we have been here over 10 years now, we have built partnerships, relationships, and especially in a market like the Philippines, that is so important, because this is not like in the United Kingdom, it is not like in the US or in Germany, where business is straightforward. If the product is good and the price is right, I will buy. No. The Philippines is very much built like the south of Italy. It's built on relationships. Italy and the Philippines have very much in common. And that has also a historic reason. Because during the time when Spain came to the Philippines and so-called conquered the Philippines, the whole south of Italy, that was called the Reign of the Two Sicilies, was under the flag of Spain. So you imagine how many were on those boats that came here at the beginning. So definitely you can still see a lot of culture, and maybe that's also why the Filipinos love spaghetti so much. But now definitely you can see the influence. Also, considering the Catholic religion. Now, Philippines is probably, some would say, the most Catholic country in the world. Definitely the Catholic influence in the Philippines is very much felt, and it is very similar. You can really feel it epidermically. You can feel it that Italy and the Philippines have very much in common. Then some of our partners here in the Philippines, because we're talking about network, we're talking about who you know. So we do partner with, of course, the Italian Embassy and the Italian Ambassador, the Infrastructure and Construction Focus Group, which we are part of. Then we are partners of the Chinese Filipino Business Club, the Makati Business Club, the Philippine-Italian Associations, and very many. Now, this is only a small part of our partners. We are partnering with various chambers, local chambers of commerce in Luzon, in Visayas, and in Mindanao. In Mindanao, where we have also strong presence, in Cagayan de Oro and in Davao. So we are really trying to be present everywhere, because same as in Italy, the Philippines has now started in the past 10 years growing outside of Metro Manila, outside of Metro Cebu, outside of Metro Davao, and secondary cities have become very important. And through the Build program of the previous administration, which is building and has been building and pushing for projects to the provinces, from roads, from ports, from airports. You can really see that the people now are more eager to stay in the provinces, because there is now more services, more infrastructure, and as a consequence, more business. Some of our prime events is Italy Gateway to Europe, which we organize 2 times a year, investing and doing business in the Philippines. In the past, we did this physically in Singapore and in Hong Kong, also just to gather our regionally present companies. Then the social events like the Aperitivo Italiano and our special leadership awards, which will be happening also this November. What are our main focus sectors? Well, similar like Anima, we do follow these trends and the real needs of the economy. So, of course, food and beverage, retail and fashion, design and construction, properties and real estate, furniture and home decor, transport and logistics, banking and finance, business and the economy. Well, of course, we do update certain companies on the local economy and business climate, food processing and packaging, agriculture and tourism, and we can go on, like automation, for example, is also one of those things where we are very strong in helping Italian companies to find Filipino partners, and vice versa, of course. Some of our prime members are Lazada for online sales. In fact, Lazada is #1 in the Philippines as platform for online sales, and Italian brands could really take advantage of working with Italian Chamber, because we are present on this platform through Galleria Italiana, which we will be very happy to present. And then we have several gold sponsors like CRIF, which is another Italian company, Dusitani, which is a hotel chain, Stratbase, silver sponsor like BDO, and many other premium members, as you can see. Now, where are really the business opportunities? Now, in a country which is building so much, which is probably more than 20 years behind Italy in infrastructure and in many other things, everything is growing. So really, it is important to have a local presence or a local partner to be able to see these opportunities and to explore what really can be done. I know the Philippines is not on the radar of too many companies, but there is some Italian companies which really are thriving here in the country, like, for example, Trevi Foundation. They are everywhere in infrastructure projects. Then we see here property development, private construction, public-private partnerships, as it was mentioned earlier, also by Secretary Diokno. Then construction technology and construction materials. Energy, like especially renewable energy and solar, wind, and other types of energy. So that is all a huge opportunity, and maybe later we have Buster explaining us why energy is such an opportunity. Then we have business opportunities in the service sector. Like, for example, we have BPO sector, many big international companies like Amazon and big banks like HSBC and even Google. They have their back office and some service centers here in the Philippines where they employ thousands and thousands of staff. Even for credit card companies, when you call the green number that is behind your credit card, it is very likely that the staff, at least in the Anglo-Saxon countries, answers directly from the Philippines. And there is some Italian companies who took advantage of that, especially for medical transcriptions, for legal works, and accounting. So that's all very interesting to use the Filipino young workforce and well-educated workforce to build back offices here from this country. Now, renewable energy, we have seen wind, solar, water, geothermal, and the biomass, for example, and what was mentioned before, also waste to energy, because the waste problem is just starting to be addressed here in the Philippines. And so it's a very big opportunity also with waste disposal technologies, as well as waste to energy technologies, which we are very much engaged in right now. So please, if there's any companies out there who engage in waste to energy and waste disposal, approach us. We are very happy to cooperate with you and lead the way to potential business. Industrial automation, we are helping some companies to find Filipino partners in industrial automation because many companies are really in need with Industry 4.0 and new technologies coming in. Also, the Philippines must upgrade and be at par with their peers in the ASEAN, like Thailand, Vietnam, for example, or Singapore. And so this is the opportunity for the Philippines. And really, Italian companies are at the forefront and famous for reliable machinery, reliable technology. So why not? Let's partner for this. And tourism. Now, the tourism in the Philippines is small-time tourism, if I can call it like that, especially driven by domestic tourism. Why? Because, for example, it's not like, for example, in Spain or in other countries where we have a lot of charter flights coming in with a lot of tourists. No, there's not so many hotels who can take a lot of tourists. So we don't have so many 1,000 bed hotels. We have a lot of smaller ones because, of course, we have a lot of small islands. So going around the Philippines is famous because of the diving, the beaches, the snorkeling, also trekking if you want. It is actually a fantastic opportunity here to come and put up some hotels and invest in tourism and the tourism sector. So this is an invitation. Italians are very famous for their agritourism, for example. Agritourism is going to become big. This actually has been growing a lot in recent years, especially thanks to the pandemic also. But also the tourism on the various beaches in the Philippines, there is a big opportunity. So let's use it. So this is to signal that we are ready for business, we are ready to do deals, and we do also mergers and acquisitions. So we do find companies for Italians or Italian entrepreneurs that may be for sale. We can lead acquisitions here in the Philippines, and we can find the right partners. So thank you very much. So that was for the Italian Chamber of Commerce. I would like to thank Tony for leading the way, and I give you back the floor at this point, and I know you have more guests.
Thank you, Maestro. We're not yet done.
No.
We'd like to hear now from Italians who have invested themselves. So I think more important than the investment in money is really investing yourself in a particular place or country. And these two gentlemen, I'm going to ask to give testimonial to their own experience, just like in a way, just like Lawrence was also invested himself in the Philippines, and share with us, well, what you have done with your own experience in the Philippines. So we'll start off with a very, I guess, long time friend and colleague at the chamber, Romolo Nati. He's the executive chairman of Italpinas Development Corporation. But we want to hear from him about this whole story, this journey that began when you first landed in the Philippines. So, Romolo? You're still mute. Lawrence, maybe the...
Okay, yeah. Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Nice to see you. Nice to see Lawrence and the rest of the team here. And first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to share my experience. As you said, the most important thing is, apart from money, it's really investing ourselves. You said it right, because at the end, business is about the entrepreneurs. I mean, we cannot think to do business in remote. Even now, it's very trendy, you know, to work in remote. But at the end, business is about being present. So as you said, I came into the Philippines back in 2008, and in 2009, I have founded the company that I am running, IDC, Italpinas Development Corporation, together with my Filipino partner, Jojo Libiste. I would like also to stress what Lawrence said earlier, that I think it's very important, also according to my experience, that when we do a business in a new country, in a country that is not our country, I think it's very important to have a local partner, because it's not so easy to navigate the bureaucracy and all the rules and regulations that every country has. And Philippines is not is the same. Like in Italy, if a Filipino wants to open a business in Italy, I guess he needs an Italian partner. And in the Philippines, as we all know, we have the 60-40 rules, where we are not allowed to own more than 40% for certain kind of businesses, which I think are related to natural resources. So real estate is one of that, because we need land, no? Correct, to in order to develop buildings. So having said that, my experience has been, of course, not without difficulties, but what I can say is that most of the focus, at least again, my experience and my energy and resources, were really spent in growing the business, and not too much in, let's say, fighting the administration or the LGU, the local government units, in terms of getting the permits, the authorization. Which is, I would say, quite different in some way from many other countries, where the administration, the government sometimes is not really very much aligned with the entrepreneurs. So I think this, from my point of view, is one of the most important and positive things of doing business in the Philippines. We have never found an antagonist administrator. I mean, we always have found local government units and very supportive. Of course, we also do our part. We need to follow by the books all the requirements that have to be met. But having said that, the process to speed permits and in real estate development permits are a lot and obviously very important. And in the Philippines, it's extremely smooth. I would say, at least according to my experience. I also agree with Lawrence. There are many opportunities outside Metro Manila. Philippines is an archipelago, more than 7,000 islands. And there are many cities, we call it the next wave cities, where opportunities are there. And these cities, they have problems. Problems are opportunities. We Italians are very good in creating solutions. So I would say that actually the company that I run, IDC, our value proposition is really going to develop in emerging cities. So we look for cities that have not been developed so much like Metro Manila, and we look for opportunities there. So we need to be first movers. So again, there are many opportunities here. Difficulties are of course also here, but as I said, difficulties that are mainly related to the business itself. Traveling around, meeting people. I can see that Italians are very much welcome for the reason that Lawrence already explained. We are very similar, and there is not really what is called the cultural shock. There is no cultural shock for Italians to live and work in the Philippines. It's very easy. We have also the similar sense of humor, because I think that it's also very important to have a little fun doing work. When you do business, it's easy to deal with Filipinos, and it's a pleasure, actually, I have to say. I don't know what to say. If there is any questions, I'm always available to share my experience, what I learned. I did my learning curve, and if I can help Italians to do their business in the Philippines, I can share my advices, my tips. I am more than happy to do that. Of course, the chamber is extremely important, because they have been here for the longest time, and they know how to navigate the country, and they also have their network, and also very easy, I have to say. I know most of them. I know Sergio, I know Lawrence, I know Buster, and it's every time. I mean, when we meet, it's a pleasure. It really doesn't even look a business meeting. It's more a pizza with friends, and this, I think, is also extremely important. I mean, the chamber is very effective and easy to talk with. So obviously, I invite every Italian that want to do business, to explore business opportunities in the Philippines, to first contact the Italian chamber in Manila. Having said that, again, thank you very much. I would like to thank the Philippines and for giving me this opportunity to do business here. And the company is doing well, knock on wood. We are growing, and again, more power to Italy and the Philippines. Thank you. Grazie. Salamat.
Grazie, Romulo. I think among our members, you're really one of the go-to if people really want to learn about the experience of Italians in the Philippines, and maybe important because you are successful. And they say it's always challenging. It's challenging to do business in the Philippines, but if you succeed, I think there are more returns to be made. Now, the next, grazie. The next person I'd like to invite is a new friend of mine and a new member of our board in the Italian Chamber. And he's rather unique because he is a Norwegian Italian Filipino. and he'll explain to you why or how that came to be, how he evolved. But he has some very interesting projects. I think they are going to be sort of the kind of technology and breakthrough projects that we need in the Philippines that sort of break the cycle. The whole poverty, underdevelopment cycle is broken by technology and new kind of capital. And so I think with all his his DNA is all mixed up, and bringing, I think, the best of these these brain pools, Norway, Italy, and here in the Philippines. We have Buster Alliston. Buster, could you tell us a little bit about your story and how you've come to settle down here?
Well, my story is quite interesting. Yes, it's true. I was born and I grew up and studied and graduated in Norway, but I started my working life actually in Italy, and that's quite a long time ago, working for bigger Italian corporations. I worked for the Fiat Group, one of the companies within the Fiat Group. I've been working for the robot industry, automation industry, ceramic industry, food industry, and whatever I did was always to bring Italian technology out of the borders. I remember Mr. Durante say, we're not good in doing commerce for the Italian companies. We listen, we make, and we make it good. Well, I've always been in commerce, bringing Italian excellence out abroad, setting up companies in most of the world. Been around 82 countries. I just had to do the calculation the other day. So living in Italy, for practical reasons, I took the Italian citizenship, and I feel Italian, 100% Italian. And for private reasons, I have been traveling back and forth to the Philippines for quite some time, and COVID made it different. COVID made it difficult for people to travel, so I had to make a decision whether I should live in the Philippines or I should continue to live in Italy. And eventually I decided that this country has so much to give to whoever wants to invest, that the right place to be is in the Philippines. It is actually, to be honest, I can say that to every country, to be in the ASEAN. 10, 15 years ago, we were all talking about the BRIC countries, the BRICS. Today, we're talking about the next 11. And the next 11, several or most of the countries, they are in this area. So to give some numbers for the Philippines, there we are approximately 115 million people. That will turn into 140 million people by 2050. That is a growth that is extraordinary. Very few countries have that growth. In terms of energy, where I'm doing a certain work and working also through the Chamber of Commerce with the authorities and the stakeholders here in the Philippines, they currently produce 116 gigawatt per year, 116 million gigawatts, sorry, 116 million. Now, that will increase by 120% in the next 18 years. That's enormous. More than doubling the amount of energy that you need in the country in 20 years. And that's an opportunity for the local stakeholders and also for the Italian industry, who is number 6 in the supply chain in the world for renewables, etc. The GDP will increase a lot over the next 20 years, which will require buildings, housing, school, food processing, food security. So definitely Italy, being a strong producer of technology, they have a big opportunity in this country. Now, this is, as Lawrence said, this is far away. And you have to be in the market if you want to do business. And that is exactly what the Italian Chamber of Commerce is doing as a service for the Italian companies. Ask the Chamber of Commerce and you will be in the market. You will be connected to the stakeholders, to the people that are investing in whatever industry there is. It's just an enormous opportunity. I would like to make a reference to some years back. The first time I went to China was 30 years ago. And if I knew then what China would become, I probably would have tried to buy some land. I went to Vietnam 20 years ago. And if I knew how they would have developed, I would probably buy some land. Now, the Philippines, who was the second largest economy in the early 60s, they are now on the fast track to become one of the strongest economies in this area. And I would say the Italian Chamber of Commerce, the Italian industry has a big role in enhancing the opportunities for the Italian industry. Where there is a demand, there will also have to be an offer. And that's what we are here for, to put the demand together with the offers. So my experience here in the Philippines is that if you don't try, you will never succeed. So every day you have to try to do business with challenges. That is normal. But if you don't try, you don't get anywhere. So with that, I'll give you the word back, Tony. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Buster, and thank you so much for. Well, I see it all the time. Your dedication to what you've invested in here in the Philippines. All right, so we've actually come to the end of our list of distinguished speakers and commentators. Unfortunately, we don't have everyone that we started with, but we're fortunate to have recorded everything that was discussed. I think some very fine insights on how we can focus, where we can focus our attention rather, to really develop this, really develop a stronger, deeper relationship between Italy and the Philippines. Now, maybe Lawrence, before I close, I was wondering if you had anything, any last comment or last insight, maybe having listened to Buster and Romulo and Alessandro. What would be your parting shot for this business forum?
Well, let me briefly say a few things. When I came here 10 years ago, now more than 10 years ago, more than 11 years ago, nearly 12. I came here for business. I was in the real estate branding, and there were these developments coming up with the Trump Tower, the Milano Tower by Versace, and so on. So big brands. And so since I was doing that, I said, okay, let me explore. I was coming directly from Dubai. Let me explore here if there is any possibility for business. Now, after staying here for a couple of weeks, I really, first of all, I immediately felt at home. That was extraordinary. I said, oh, wow, from the Middle East, I come here and I immediately feel like I was in Italy, actually more in southern Italy. And since I loved it, I decided to stay longer. And after 3 months, I actually decided to extend my stay. And this then led to deciding to relocate to the Philippines. And with this, what I want to say is that as an Italian, I can imagine that the Philippines being very far on the geographical map. But in the end of the day, once the Italians come here, they really see what is going on here. Often I ask people in Italy, where is the Philippines? They have no clue. They really have no clue. And but now more and more, I think we are gaining momentum, and exactly because of this momentum, these kind of events like today, where we involve the Philippine government and we ask the partnership of associations and institutions like Anima, it is important that we show that we are together and we are ready to support the growth of the Philippines with our know-how, with our technology, with our investments, and at the same time help Philippine companies to enter the Italian and European market with their products, be it agri-products or even manufactured products. And I think that's all. I know that we can keep on exchanging our thoughts and experiences for the next hours or so. But I think this first input should be enough to move companies, entrepreneurs to contact us and to sit down and really talk business. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Lawrence. Before I do my own closing, I'd like to, of course, thank our special guests for being here today. Alessandro, thank you so much for sharing so much information. I think I have to go back and look at your recording so I can look for these opportunities. And of course, our dear friends, Romulo and Buster, thank you so much. Of course, Il Presidente, Sergio, for taking time from all the way from Italy and taking the lead for our business forum. And Lawrence, of course, my dear friend, thank you so much. And then our special mention, our friends like Secretary Ben Jokno, who's always been there for us, Yusek Fita, Ambassador of Italy to the
Marco
Philippines.
Clemente, Ambassador.
Yeah, Ambassador Clemente, thank you so much for being with us.
And thanks to you, Tony, Don Antonio, as we love to call you.
Well, you know, I'll take a bold step in seconding what Buster said. I'd like to think that Philippines is really, at this point in history, the best place to stake your claim, to do business. It's probably, we like to say it's a hidden gem, but actually we haven't been hidden for a long time. It's just that we haven't been getting our groove or doing things the right way. Some of the important measures that Ben Jokno mentioned and Fita as well with regard to economic reforms are very crucial to this. So it's not just about partnerships, it's about setting the policy framework and the policy environment correct. But I think like-minded people like ourselves know what has to be done. And well, I'd like to look back in history because I am a history buff and look at Italy. Italy, we admire Italy now. It's very modern. It's very technology savvy, and the people are creative, are exciting. But I know not too long ago, Italy is also had its periods of suffering, its periods of poverty and underdevelopment and difficulties. In fact, much longer history than the Philippines, if you'd like to call it that. But when you go and travel through Italy, you can also sort of imagine, some wishful thinking. You imagine yourself also driving through the Philippines one day and it not being too far off from what Italy has done. How Italy has revived its environment and has actually communed very much with nature through its agri-turismo and the heavy investment in agriculture is something that can revive the Philippine economy and actually make it more equitable. Everything is concentrated here in Metro Manila right now, but maybe one day it will spread out. So these will require, of course, very difficult and tough measures. But I'd like to think that if we are to look at history and look at how Italy has brought itself to where it is now, that there are possibilities also for the Philippines by forging that strong partnership. And just looking at that long list of Alessandro, there's just so many things we can invest in. And the place, of course, the Philippines is the best place to invest. The best place to forge this partnership is at the Italian Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. So again, and to our audience, participants, thank you so much for being with us today. And I hope you go back to the recordings or your notes. And we will, from this point on, now look at this business forum as a staging point for this strong partnership, this new partnership that we're looking for between Italy and the Philippines. So this has been Tony Abad as your host and moderator, or your host for this Italy-Philippines Business Forum 2022, and we look forward to seeing you all again at our next events. Have a nice day. Arrivederci.
Have a nice day.
Oh, shall we have a photo, Lawrence?
Yes, yes, you
course.
are right.
After all, we're in the Philippines.
Diba?
Okay.
Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat.
Okay. Gallery view. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Wonderful. So
Thank
can
you very
post
much.
it.
Have a nice
Thank you very much.
Grazie
Thank you
mille.
very much, Tony. Grazie, arrivederci.
Thank you. Grazie, grazie. Ciao.
Ciao.